So I picked up this the other day, Roland Juno-6. It's the second one I've got. Why have I got two, you ask yourself? Well, I just feel they're a bit of an investment, to be honest. These vintage synths are just going crazily up and up and up. And just when you think they can't go anymore, they do. The Jupiter series is all kind of out of reach now, really. I mean, the Jupiter 8, forget it. You can buy a very nice sports car for the price of a Jupiter 8. So I feel like the Junos are the last Roland vintage synths, polysynths, that are kind of sort of affordable. The Juno-6 is less desirable than the 60 because it doesn't have presets, so it's cheaper. But I don't need presets. I'm not going to use it live, and it's very, very easy to program. You can get a great sound out of this thing in 5 minutes flat, no problem. So it's a great little studio synth if you just want a vintage flavour. I feel like there's not so much to go wrong on them. They're quite reliable and solid. The weak point is the chorus, which often gets noisy. My other one is noisy, needs fixing. There's always going to be something doesn't work properly on these things. But overall, they're quite simple and it feels there's less to go wrong on them. I've made a sound pack of 5 different sounds that I've programmed. I've sampled them note for note across the keyboard so you get the proper vintage deal. And they go into Logic Sampler and Contact. Sound like this. So if you want to pick them up, you can get them. The link is below to my website. I'm just going to show you around the synth and play a few sounds for you. By the way, if you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and do the alert bell and all that stuff. It really helps keep things motoring. All right, let's get started. Okay, so you've got just one oscillator. It's a digitally controlled oscillator. And you've got sawtooth and a pulse. And the pulse is, the width is adjustable. It's a bit rattly on this one. You can do it manually like that, or you can use the LFO to move the width, which is a good sound. So you can hear straight away it sounds quite detuned if you put the two together. Then you add the chorus, which you have to add. That's the classic Juno sound straight away. You've also got a sub, which is a square, sounds really good. Tons of bottom end on it. And you can blend that in with the other two to make a very big sound, really. You've also got noise. Does just what it says on the tin, and obviously you can blend that in again, so you've got control with all those. The whole synth is just one big sweet spot. It's very hard to go wrong. There's not so many sounds you can get out of them, but they're good sounds. They're sounds that are very familiar and that you like to hear. Or I like to hear anyway. The other thing I forgot to mention is you can automate the width of the pulse using the envelope as well. If you switch the VCA from envelope to gate, once it's on gate, you won't get any release anymore. But it just means that you can then control the pulse how you like. Quite flexible, actually. So you can get these quite subtle movements going on. You do have a fair bit of control there. Switch that back to envelope. Let's move on to the envelope next. It's obviously a very nice sounding filter. You've got obviously resonance. Sounds very nice. You've got cut off. You've got a high pass filter, which is quite cool. So you can get those nice thin sounds. Depends what you're doing, but it can be really nice to be able to sculpt away a bit of the low end. You can affect the filter with the LFO. You can put a delay on the LFO as well. And you've got keyboard tracking. What keyboard tracking means, just in case you don't know, is if it's in the middle, the cutoff is going to be even across the keyboard. If you have it on 10, then it will be duller at the bottom end and brighter at the top end. And if you go the other way, obviously it's the opposite. Just in case, when I first got a synth, I said, what does that actually do, that keyboard tracker? I had no idea. So there you go. It's explained for you if you didn't know. You can also inverse the way the envelope affects the filter. So that can make for some quite cool sounds, because rather than the filter closing with the envelope release, it opens up. The cool thing is you can get the initial attack and then followed by that rise. Really cool effect. I like it a lot. Over here you've got the pitch bend and sort of mod wheel. It's just a button, so you can switch LFO to be manual. Unfortunately this doesn't work on this particular Juno, but if I pressed it and it worked, I can automate the LFO coming in. Everything just works well on this thing, you know. It just kicks out sound in quite a rude fashion, like a big electronic burp. That's what I like about it. It's not polite at all. So here's your LFO, goes from very slow to pretty fast. And you can delay it coming in. So we can get that, the classic kind of Mark Ronson Uptown Funk sound. Love that sound. Okay, let's go over to the chorus. Obviously, I've had it on most of the time. It's such a big part of the Juno sound. It is noisy. It's something that goes wrong often on them. I think the chips need replacing. On my other one, the chorus is super noisy. I've got to get it fixed. But it's beautiful. So you've got that one, which is a slower sort of chorus. And number 2 is more like an ensemble chorus. And then if you put both buttons in together, you get a third chorus setting, which is not so stereo and faster movement. The only other thing to mention is the Arpeggiator, which I really love the Arpeggiator on this. instant 80s, isn't it, the sound? The other thing I forgot to mention is you can automate the filter cutoff with the bender. There you go. There's the Juno-6. I'm going to just play a few sounds for you now.